What's up, guys? All right, we just got back from Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. We thought it was interesting. There were 8 of us that saw. We took up a whole row in the theater. We were kind of noisy, but it's okay. They didn't kick us out. So I'm here with Jeff, Cole, Jonah, and Landon. You can't see Landon. He's down here. There's his hand. And this is a spoiler-filled review of the movie. So we will be talking about things that happen in the movie. If you don't want it spoiled for you, click out now. It's in the title, so you knew this clicking into it. So don't get mad. Don't complain. I don't want to hear anything, okay? Last chance. Okay, cool. So the last time we see Wanda is with WandaVision, and she's controlling the whole town with her mind, which is a big upscale from where she was in Endgame when she's taken on Thanos, which is an even bigger upscale than when we see her first appearance to begin with, or like Civil War even. Wanda has progressed like this. Like, she was like this powerful, and then she got here and here and here, and she's just making leaps and bounds. And now Wanda's a multiversal threat.
Well, who knows what happened to her.
Hold on. When you think about it, they specifically called her Scarlet Witch. That's what she wanted to be called. I don't remember them ever calling her Scarlet Witch. It was
they
always
called
Wanda.
her the Scarlet Witch, I think, when she was evil, and in Avengers 2. I think they called her like the Scarlet Witch,
okay.
Or like that was her code name or something like that.
Also,
like Hydra's code name.
Okay, to add up to when we were in the different multiverse, and we were talking about Captain Carter, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I first saw Captain Marvel, and I thought it was T'Challa. I thought it was the Black Panther, except as a girl. Because, you know how her armor was black and silver?
And that makes no sense.
That was my first thought.
Yeah, I thought it was Black Panther, but just a variant.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking it was, but then it wasn't.
So, another thing to think about here is, and we'll get back to the power scaling thing in a second, because that's really important for this movie too, but one thing to think about is the events that happen in Loki. So far, the only events that have crossed over from the TV shows really are WandaVision and this movie, right? In Loki, we find out, we know the multiverse exists. We know there's variants and things and they call them variants. They don't call them variants in this film because that information has not been processed over. So, spoiler alert, sorry to say, Loki does not appear in this film. Nothing that has to do with Loki appears in this film, to my knowledge, that I saw off the surface when I first watched through. But, so that's just to cover that up. So we'll call them variants in this conversation possibly, but they don't call them variants in the film. But back to the power scaling thing, because I think that's the most important thing in this film.
But still, nobody knows if Loki's alive, even though he is.
Yeah, no one knows. Well, and it's this time displays Loki, but that's not the point. The point is the biggest threat we saw so far. We saw Dormammu, but we didn't see his full power. We just know he could destroy planets. You know what I mean? And we saw a Celestial, but we didn't see their full power. And we saw Thanos with the gauntlet. When I tell you that Wanda in this film is by definition, or has the capabilities, I guess, because of the plots of the film, to be an infinite, literally the number infinite, times more powerful than Thanos with gauntlet, that's what I mean. Because they said that she could conquer the multiverse. She has so much power, she could conquer the multiverse. The gauntlet, so if you don't know, the Infinity Stones don't work outside of the universe they came from. So if we had an Infinity Gauntlet in this universe, and you took it to a different universe, it wouldn't work. It would just be a glove with rocks.
That's why they use them as paperweights in Loki.
Yeah. So Thanos is by definition, with that power, only universal. They straight up said, Wanda's a multiversal threat. Once she has access to the multiverse, she's multiversal. That's bitchin', but that's also
that makes her the most powerful.
Yeah,
being
what?
In every
Forget
universe.
the debate on if Captain Marvel and Thor take each other out. Bro, excuse me?
It's like the Dr. Manhattan of Marvel.
Yeah, we're talking about power in a cinematic universe that you've never seen, and she's just not even using it because she said she was going easy. And it's and Doctor Strange, the Sorcerer, well, he's not technically the Sorcerer.
She said she was being reasonable.
Yeah, she's being reasonable. The Sorcerer Supreme, I know Doctor Strange isn't the Sorcerer Supreme, but whatever, was a fly. He was just getting swatted. He could stall for 2 seconds, and she's all right,
X's brain was just like that.
Yeah, Professor X is the most powerful telepath besides Jean Grey in the Marvel universe, and he just got he got Thanos. He got General Zod'd.
He literally got snapped. His neck.
Yeah.
Well, and Black Bolt. That's how bad Wanda scales. Black Bolt was literally like
Does that have to do
nothing.
with the voice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Black Bolt was like a closed door, and like a revolving
Literally,
door.
Closed mouth.
he closed his mouth.
It was.
He hummed and killed himself.
Now I will say one thing real fast though. In my fan cast for the Fantastic Four on my TikTok, I was right. That's all I'm saying.
You were right.
John Krasinski is Mr. Fantastic. So we know Mr.
No.
Fantastic exists out there now.
So now will they make a Marvel movie out of it?
Well, that's the problem with this film, and that's why I'm giving the film such a bad rating. It's because Marvel was like, "All right, multiverse time," and then the film ending says like, "No more multiverse. You can't do it anymore, otherwise shit's gonna fucking pop off."
But she still has her powers, we think.
She's dead.
No.
Wanda? Or
No,
we're talking
not
about
America.
America?
I'm talking about America.
Yeah, she's still useless.
But she's learning the
magic
powers.
and stuff and whatever. But that's not like I'm saying like.
Could
We
she
didn't see
become
any.
more powerful than
We didn't see any
Strange?
characters merge because they said they go if another character, a single being, enters Earth and stays for too long, like enters another user and stays for too long, then the Earths collide.
Incursion.
An incursion happens.
Yeah.
So if you know what the incursions are, in Marvel, there's the series called Secret Wars, and that's where the Beyonders basically are like, we're just destroying Earth, like the experiment's over, and they just push two Earths together. In the cinematic universe, they're saying incursions happen when variants interact in each other's universes, basically. Oh wait, no, variants are time travel.
This is space travel.
Yeah, my bad. That just clicked in my head.
So there's
Because
no
I was like, what are you
variance.
talking about? Loki was with his own variants and stuff, and like it wasn't happening. No, variants are time travel. My bad. That's why they don't call them variants. Now, the more you know.
They probably still wouldn't call them variants, though.
Probably not. They call them doppelgangers, which is what everyone, obviously
Right.
that's the word. But so now the only way that we're not going to see a multiversal crossover movie. Like we're not going to see the X-Men and Fantastic Four and all those things enter the main Marvel universe until Secret Wars, the movie, because that's the only way it can happen.
And that's
Until
gonna come out
Loki
in like
too.
what, 3-4 years maybe?
The next team-up film, basically, the next Avengers movie, and the next Avengers level team-up movie is going to.
And
be
it's gonna be good.
It'd have to be crazy. And technically in Secret Wars, the villain in the newest Secret Wars, like the 2015 one, is Doctor Doom. Because Doctor Doom, Doctor Strange, and the Beyonder, or the Molecule Man, Owen Reese, kill the Beyonders. These overly godlike beings. And the Molecule Man is just as strong as them because he has the ability to move around atoms and change reality and stuff. And so Doctor Doom and Doctor Strange, their combined magical forces and then him, kill the Beyonders, take their power, and Doctor Strange was too scared to take the power. Which is kind of what this film plays on a little bit. They play on his fear of power because of his other versions of himself and stuff like that. So Doctor Doom is like, dude, takes the power and saves a portion of reality. They call it Battle World, and it's like the Marvel zombies, the Ultron bots, a couple things here and there, and he like erases people's minds and makes them his like subservient beings. But Doctor Strange knows because he protected himself, right? Or Doctor Doom allowed him to know. Either way, that was the storyline. And then eventually, him and Mr. Fantastic come into conflict, and then Mr. Fantastic resets the universe or whatever. But that's not the point. Well, that's the point actually. The point is that that's the next step, right? It seems like that's what we're going to, with Doctor Strange being scared of power and like him having the effects of using the Dark Book or whatever. What was it called?
The something soul book? Something?
The Book of the Damned,
Dark
I guess is what they call
Soul,
it. Yeah, the Dark
The dark something.
something. The
Yeah.
bad book that Wanda has in WandaVision. We're gonna see. We know the Fantastic Four exists, so that means there's a Doctor Doom out there. Hopefully, we know that the X-Men exist, and that was so. I think most of you know this. You saw the trailer. They revealed the wheelchair of Professor Xavier, and it's the one from the '90s cartoon. So
And they're coming out with a 90s cartoon.
continuation.
Yeah, something like that.
So I don't know what this means quite exactly. I don't know if it's going to be an animated adaptation of that universe, and this we just saw a temporary live action version of it, or if it's going to be like a universe in which the events are similar to the ones that we just saw in the movie. It gets really confusing how they do it because we don't know. They don't explicitly say it exactly because the multiverse is technically infinite. There's literally like all the events happen the exact same except in this universe Cole has a mustache. Like, that's the one difference. Or, like, he lost his pinky toe.
Or decided not to eat this morning.
Yeah, like, that's the difference. So we don't technically know unless you explicitly say, this is that exact universe. So, it's a pain in the ass. But it also leaves Marvel open, like, plenty of open doors to be like, we can tell an infinite amount of stories now.
Do you remember the name of the Earths? Like, they were saying 2 different Earths?
Yeah, the Marvel one was, the other one was, like, 2 something. It was lower.
It was lower, and ours. Like,
They said
Six-
that's the problem,
616.
and you're all gonna
Yeah,
get pissed.
616.
They called the cinematic universe the 616 universe. That's not the case. That is not true. They are wrong. The mainline comic of Marvel is 616. Technically, the MCU exists in the comic universe as a multiverse, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's a different one. This, again, unless they're saying this is a live-action adaptation of that universe, but none of these events that happen in the MCU take place in that universe the way they're happening now. So that makes 0 sense. So in the film, they just refer to them as they're like, we call you guys 616. They're just wrong.
And if you try and argue that it's a film adaptation of the comics, you're also wrong, because when they were traveling multiverses, they had a brief period of time where they were comics.
Yeah, well, and that could be any comic, because there's other comics in the Marvel comics that are other universes, so that could be anyone. So the movie's gonna piss you off. On that. I'm very sorry for all you diehard fans.
Is Scarlet Witch dead?
No.
No, you see, when she collapsed that thing, there was a brief little
There was the red
burst of red.
the burst of red.
Well, plus it's the multiverse. She's gonna come back as a different version of her.
Yeah.
a different
Because
version of her.
think about it, when they grabbed the special, like the multiverse book thing. What is it called?
The bad
Dark.
book or the good book?
The good book.
The Book of Ashanti.
Yes. When they go to grab that, and then they jump multiverses, and like the other Wanda is there still, but she like her mind isn't controlled anymore. She jumps back into the thing.
Yeah, and that
Her
Wanda.
reality.
I think that was the Wanda that. No, that was the Wanda that she was controlling.
Yes.
No,
But
at the
now
end,
she was
at the end of the movie, the one that
Well,
America
they
showed
basically
her.
saved her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the same Wanda.
Oh.
So, I'm like 99.99% sure because she had the same cuts and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that the Wanda we're going to see in the MCU from now on is the actual Wanda from comic, the daughter of Magneto when the X-Men come over, because then we'll get Quicksilver back as her brother, and we'll get Vision and her
But is it
sobbing
gonna be the
kiss.
same Quicksilver?
It's not the same Quicksilver, it's the glasses Quicksilver.
Hopefully, it's him.
True.
Or
I hope so,
a whole
yeah.
new one. I don't want the MCU one. I want a whole new one if we're not going to get...
I like the
The
glasses.
original.
I don't mind him,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have... But his sister is like 10 in that movie.
True.
Not even. So, I don't know. I mean, there's just so much... And then, like, Marvel not having the rights to Shima Gorath, so they don't even call him... They don't even call him the many-angled ones. You know what they call him? They call him just, like, creatures that Wanda summons. Wanda Maximoff is summoning the many-angled ones. You comic fans are gonna riot when you see this stuff. They basically took this, like, all the content... The 80 years of content that Marvel has written, and Sam Raimi and Kevin Feige and the guys and the writers were like, you know what? There's some 10-year-olds that really want to watch this movie. Fuck that shit. And let's do this. It's like...
Missed opportunity.
You know, seeing you talk about it like this, I think the reason I ranked it so high is because I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. Taking the comics side of it, it's like a
Same.
fun movie. It's a good movie. It's like fun, right? But if you know anything about anything with comics and Marvel at all, you're just like, no, what?
Like,
Why?
I didn't know, like, that Cthulhu-looking dude was the many-angled one, so...
Like, it's outrageous.
No, we discussed that after No Way Home.
Yeah, because
When
we
we
saw that in
watched
the
the
trailer.
trailer,
I was
yeah.
like, the many-angled ones, there's no way Doctor Strange can take them on, because the powers of, you know, the Sentry, Silver Surfer, and, like, Nova, like, Alex Rider Nova couldn't beat a many-angled one.
So when
They
does,
could tickle him.
when does Galactus come into play? Think about that.
The Fantastic Four movie. I don't think Galactus is going to be a
Secret
team-up movie.
Wars? Well, no, because that's...
Galactus died. Actually, Galactus' head is his castle, Dr. Doom's castle.
Right.
So, no. I mean, he'll be in, like, the Fantastic Four movie, I assume.
If we do.
They're going to make one. And it's going to be my fan cap.
I can't wait till Thor: Love and Thunder. That's gonna be
Now, we established something with... Did you see the information we saw on that? They said that... Do you remember Nowhere from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yes.
The head of the Celestial that they use as a base of operations? They're saying that is someone that Gore the God Butcher already killed. Like, that was a Celestial that he killed.
Oh.
Because Gorr the God Butcher is a character who goes around and just kills gods.
And he's gonna be in this movie.
Wait,
He's gonna be the main villain in Thor:
That's
Love
the
and
golden
Thunder.
person, right? The Celestial.
From Guardians of the Galaxy 2?
Yeah.
No, that's Adam Warlock.
Who were
Still
still
haven't
waiting
seen.
on.
And everyone thought that was going to be...
That's gonna be on the. That will be in the third Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, I'm thinking of the actor. Everyone thought that was gonna. Everyone thought that was gonna be
It's the guy who plays
Zac Efron. Everyone thought it was Zac Efron, but it's the guy from Maze Runner, and
Not just Maze
We're the
Runner.
Millers, and that guy.
Not
looks,
even-
dude. What? What do you mean?
Okay, what's I can't think of the guy's name, but he's the main guy in Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh.
That's not what people know him from.
Well, he's in a video game. He's in Shameless. We're the Millers. He's in a lot of things.
He's not in Shameless.
Yes, he is.
That's not the guy. That's not the same guy.
You sure?
I'm 100% sure. That is
Okay,
not the same
well,
guy.
my
You are
bad.
just redhead stereotyping.
No, I am not.
Yes, you are. Not the same guy at all.
This man hates gingers.
I'm putting little duck squeaky noises over the curse words. I think.
Oh, I like
Oh, for sure.
Good luck, he'll be
that. So
all
you're gonna
right.
cut this part out too,
No, it's the same.
so I can just say.
Now you sound like you sound like the dolphins when SpongeBob curses.
You
Ah!
should put those over the curse words.
No,
instead.
do
I
the
probably
old man
see.
Jenkins ones.
We're getting off topic.
Ooh.
You know, old man Jenkins, where it goes, "Ooh,"
But it
or
just
like
did.
any time he, yeah.
Anyways, back to the movie.
What else is there?
There should have been more characters.
Agreed.
I thought it was gonna be-
Should have been more because each multiverse we didn't see anything.
How long was the movie? Can someone look at it? 2.5 hours?
Like something like that.
2.5
Wait,
hours.
Think about it. When they were like the start to jump from multiverse to multiverse,
You could have passed by an infinite amount of characters.
you could have, but like the paint one, that was just weird. I don't
But
understand.
like
They should have
most
passed
Doc
through
Strange.
Well, like
Spider-Man
the cartoon
swinging
one made me
on a
think
web.
instantly.
It's
of,
super
like,
weird because I knew that was paint. I don't know how I knew it was paint.
We
and
all
I
knew
was
it was
like,
paint.
damn,
I think
that's
they did a
paint.
pretty good job making it seem like paint. It was either that or orange juice, and I don't think it was orange juice.
There was the
Apple
there was
juice.
super futuristic where that could have been like.
Spider-Man 2099.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yes.
I still think it should have been on Tatooine.
No,
Yeah.
Damn
I
it.
do think the lava planet that opened up. I think it was Mustafar. I do because Star Wars.
No,
is
I
canon
thought that
above
was
it.
literal hell.
Well, it's not canon, but it's like
That is what Mustafar is supposed to be.
Well, yeah, that
it's
too. but-
connected. They're
They'll
owned by
never
Disney.
make Star Wars an MCU. There's no way.
That,
Why not?
That
You
would
think-
piss
Disney could be
both
like-
fan
I
bases
Why,
think you
off.
but
really
why would that
could,
make
though.
you mad? Why couldn't they be like, that was Mustafar? That's
They're
it.
both
That's the
owned
only
by
time we
Disney.
see anything Disney and Star Wars. Be like, that was Mustafar. Okay, cool. So we know that there's a possibility that one day Spider-Man gets a lightsaber, but like, who cares? It's in
I
Fortnite,
think
so
while they were going through the universes, they should have went through the
The cantina?
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
They could be like, what
No,
the fuck?
you know what's
and then just
bad?
keep going.
No, this is my
It
biggest
was
complaint.
hilarious.
They used music to fight in this movie.
I fucking like
Music
that.
now.
stuff.
Classical
That was-
music
I thought it
to
was
start.
cool.
That was god awful. What
I
do you mean
fucking
it was
like
cool? He took notes off pages. Like that first one, I was like, okay,
And he
whatever.
used
and
it
then they
as-
kept going.
Yeah,
But it was
I thought it
good.
was dumb.
Yeah, I did too.
Fuck y'all.
Too childish.
Yeah,
The first part was cool when he pulled out the books, but then once I kept
But
going,
you gotta think, this has
Yeah.
been this.
that was cool.
This
But
Marvel
But that also
movie in
means he
general.
could pull up his phone, whip out.
like that was just like, what? And then like the random guitar thing. Like, okay, when you use music to symbolize something in a movie, right? It has to like make sense. Like the best one I can think of is in Batman v Superman or like Wonder Woman when Wonder Woman's theme.
Mhm.
Da-da-da-da-da. That's like her like ready for battle. It's a war cry. Wonder Woman's a warrior. This was like an 80s guitar like
Metal.
Yeah.
Riff. It
And
was
it was
just like
like-
a straight riff.
it was like
It was like some Metallica shit.
what?
Yeah.
Like Sam Raimi was doing LSD when he wrote that part. He's like, you know what's gonna happen?
He was.
Where was Spider-Man?
He was seeing music notes, and that's why I did it.
He's like,
I wanted to.
you ever seen Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's that part.
Everybody's
It's
seen
the
it.
part in Scott Pilgrim where the DJs are battling.
Yep.
It's literally that scene right there. I'll put it on screen
That
if
is
you
a
know what I'm
very,
talking about.
very accurate parallel right
Right?
there.
And that movie's a literal joke. That movie's a comic book.
I've enjoyed
The movie's
that.
based on a comic book, right? but it's a childish comic. It's meant to be stupid.
But the movie's good.
Exactly. That made sense of the movie. It made zero effing sense for Captain Carter to get sliced in half, and then it's like, music battle! It's like Pitch Perfect, girls gonna shut up and like riff off, and then like both strangers have to team up, otherwise they're gonna lose their eternal souls to Fat Amy. I just didn't make any sense.
Can we talk about, like, moving on from that? Can we talk about that?
Can we move on from that? Can we really move on from that?
Not really. Can we talk about the after credit scene?
Which one?
The one
The first one. No.
The one that just gave us a
Okay,
huge middle finger.
Bruce Campbell. Don't waste your time. In the second after credit scene, Bruce Campbell is just reappearing, and he does nothing. Bruce Campbell breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
It's over. He literally said, it's over.
Yeah.
He
So,
punches-
but that's a Sam Raimi Bruce Campbell thing. But the first end credit scene,
I forgot what that was.
it's the girl slices open and takes him to the
Dormammu's
dark.
yeah.
daughter.
I think it's Dormammu's daughter. That makes the most sense to me.
Well, I mean, I don't know why I thought of an
Yeah, no.
Eternal.
Well, she kind of looked like an Eternal.
That's what I was thinking at first. I was like, okay, she's like
I hope this is the
a variant.
So, that makes the most sense to me, right? She comes out purple. Her eyes are purple. Dormammu's purple. She opens a
But when you open it up and you look at it, it's literally where Dormammu.
the dark dimension.
Yeah.
So
Jormammu.
that makes the
It's
most
Dormammu.
sense.
We're on
But
a lot of
my question
problems
is
with
okay,
names and
in
shit.
Marvel Comics, the multiverse, each multiverse has like a bunch of its own things, right?
Mhm.
Like this, but there's like in Marvel, one thing that's constant across all the multiverses is there's only one
confirming it.
negative zone, right? So
Who that
every
is.
universe has access to the negative zone, and then once you're in the negative zone, you can enter any other universe, right? And the negative zone is just like this antimatter place, okay?
I thought it was called a gap junction.
No, that's
And
totally
you
different
think
thing.
much-
Totally different concept. Imagine
Even?
if the multiverse is
I
like
kind of like my bean
a
bag.
jar full of golf balls,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the space in between the golf balls is the negative
Yeah.
zone.
Oh,
Well, I'm going
It
to discuss
exists-
this more with you tomorrow.
Okay, bye, Cole. It exists across all the
see you,
multiverses.
Cole.
Does
Okay.
the dark dimension exist across all the multiverses? I don't remember off the top of my head. I'm pretty sure it does. So there's only one Dormammu.
Yeah.
I think so. But I don't know. All right, so
We lost 2 troops.
oh yeah, Landon, Jeff, and I are the last ones left. It's really late for us, so I'm wrapping this review up here in a second. But basically, the
Give 'em a part
main
2?
issues no, because this does not require a part 2. I'm
No.
done with this movie, dude. The basic things I dislike about this movie is the big strayaways it takes from the source material. Like I'm usually okay with it, but it's straying and it's like tugging on it so hard. You got a lack of characters in a movie that
As a movie, and just a whole
Yeah.
lack of character development, there's not really a set. I mean, there's a plot.
America
but it doesn't
Chavez
really,
reminded me of the Asian girl from
Yeah.
Star Wars.
Oh, the Rose.
From
You
the
she's
second
just
one.
she's just there to
She's just there.
say stuff.
And suddenly she's like important.
she's also got a whole bunch of plot armor, so you know nothing's gonna happen to her.
That's
and
what I'm
she's
saying. And
that's
plot armor is usually not that bad, but this was like bad.
it's like bad. Like
So again, in a movie that literally includes the multiverse, I felt like there was actually a lack of heroes and characters. We got a bunch of cool ones, don't get me wrong, but I feel like there could have been more.
I think the main
Poor character development for the second lead. Weak villain, if we're being honest.
I
And she
enjoyed
was
the villain, but
strong.
she could have been more terrifying. Like they could have done so much more like cinematically with her powers
I didn't
to
think-
make it more of like a horror movie.
I
was
didn't think that
expecting
was
a horror
fine.
movie.
I just think like her motive was like
Yeah, that was
What?
that was a terrible.
it came
one.
out of nowhere. You
I want
end
kids.
WandaVision. You ended WandaVision, and you're like, okay, dude, she needs someone to pull her back to the light. And no, suddenly she's like, I'm murdering everyone.
for children. That's
Yep. For her
And then
future
she's like,
roles.
and then she basically she looks in the mirror. She literally just looked in the
Yeah.
mirror. Basically, it was like, I must
I fucked
pay
up.
for my evil ways. And
And attempted to kill herself. But
I think
Yeah.
it was more of her looking into her frightened children's eyes, but yeah.
So
Yeah, I saw
basically,
that,
I
and
give
then
it the
little-
4 out of 10 because of the couple things they did for fan service. There were some scary parts that I thought were cool. Landon says there needs to be more. I thought there was a good amount. That's why I'm giving it a point for it at all.
But hey, there is one thing that is really good about it, and that it sets up so many more things in the future.
I don't even think it does. If we're being
Possibly.
honest, I actually think it made it harder for them to do that.
Well, we didn't know about
I
all
think
these
Strange-
previous
I think Loki said
previous
it more.
Marvel universes being
We like
insane.
figured that they were there though.
Well,
Basically, they just told us like they're closed off to you guys for now.
are we gonna be able to call it the MCU now?
The Marvels, yeah. It's all Marvel characters still. It's all Marvel
I
content.
think Loki set up more than this movie did, though.
They did.
Really?
I
Loki
do
set up the
too.
whole Phase 4.
Loki set up.
Seems
No,
like
that
everyone said
Loki was
4.
Phase 4. Loki set up Phase 5.
Oh, Phase 5, whatever.
I
You know
think.
what
I
meant.
think we're on Phase 5 now. I think this movie marks the end of Phase 4, and everything after is Phase 5. Phase 4 was the weakest phase so far, in my opinion, and
I'm heading out.
later landed. And I truly do think that Loki, like Jeff said, set up more.
Set up more
Like-
possibilities.
2 years from now, 3 years from now, yeah. Because of this movie, we can do this to set up some stuff, but that's a big gap. That's because of another movie that has to be made, and it's like
It's going to be years from now.
yeah, and it's like this movie actually closed off a lot of stuff for them. Like, because now you can't have cameo, or I guess you can, but it's like there's more consequences. I don't know. I just thought it was very
Some world will collide, and that's the end of everything.
lackluster in the end. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 10. Jeff gave it a 5.
5 out of 10, yeah.
I mean, I do enjoy the movie a lot. I will rewatch it multiple times. Don't get me wrong. But in terms of like, this is a comic book channel, and I'm gonna be critical for you guys because we like this stuff. So if we're talking strictly MCU films, I'll give it like the 6, 7, maybe an 8 because it was really cool. And in terms of like movies, it had a lot of previous callbacks. But comic book fan rating, I'm giving it the 4. And Bruce Campbell's literally one of those points, and he actually pissed me off in the end. So, thank you guys for watching. Though, leave a comment after you watch the movie on what you think, and don't forget to subscribe. Obviously, like those are just the basics, guys. You gotta get those. We'll see you guys in the next video. And again, thank you guys for all the support. It's been awesome. I'm having a blast with this stuff. So, yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next video.